Here's a Radio Shack indoor-outdoor security camera. Simulated. And how about an IR camera for indoor or outdoor use, dummy? This is a product segment that's still very much alive and well today, judging by the plethora of them that are available online, some of which look identical to this one. And simulated security cameras have been around almost as long as real ones. Here's a newspaper article from September 1962 which mentions them. They wrote both real and bogus television cameras are being installed today in stores to discourage shoplifting and employee thievery. The employee has no way of telling whether he is being eyed by the legit or fake model. One fake camera firm advertises its product as being more realistic in appearance than many costly, authentic TV cameras. This article from April 1978 says genuine video cameras for store surveillance cost $400 or more when hooked up to a television screen or videotape recorder for monitoring. But a dummy camera can be purchased for as little as $15, though experts scorn cheap models as being too flimsy looking to be believable. For about $90, a dummy that looks like the real thing with an official-looking red light, rotating swivel base, and coaxial cable can be installed. Although they said after a while shoplifters find out if they're just dummies. The more lights and noise a camera makes, generally speaking, the more phony it is. And here is one of those phony security cameras from the time, a Telguard, which cost $39.50 versus $1,200 for the real thing. As New York Magazine wrote in August 1979, unbeknownst to the public, simulated video systems are a hot item in the security business. Probably more than half the cameras in banks are fakes, says Nick Clements, a sales rep for Telguard General Systems, which sold $3.5 million in simulated equipment last year. When Radio Shack introduced their first simulated security camera in 1997, Rick Borenstein, their senior VP of merchandising, called it passive protection. You could buy a real security camera for $400, but he said the decoys sell extremely well. It's one of the easiest ways for a lot of people to show would-be intruders to go onto another house. Are you taking a chance? Sure, life's a chance. Well, with that ringing endorsement, let's take a closer look at the one I got. This Radio Shack model says CCD color camera on it, back when having a color security camera was a special thing because many of them were black and white. It claims to look exactly like the real thing and has a flashing LED. The box says it's ideal for small businesses, entryways, property lines, exhibits, and storage yards. And on the other side it gives the sales pitch. They'll never know. A visible video surveillance system is one of the best ways to deter theft and vandalism. However, those can be expensive and are often a hassle to set up and maintain. This simulated camera, on the other hand, is a simple and more affordable alternative. It looks exactly like the real thing, complete with pretend cable and flashing light. Just mount it in plain sight, then insert the batteries, sold separately. Anyone up to no good will want to steer clear. As far as they know, you've got a working camera ready to record every action. On the back of the box they show it with its included mounting hardware, and it says it was custom manufactured in China for Radio Shack, and it looks like the DPI of the printing on the box is causing a trippy looking moire pattern on my camera. It requires 2 C batteries, not included, and according to the date code, this one was made in December 2012, which was really near the end of Radio Shack's viability as a retail chain. In 2014, they started closing a lot of stores, and then in 2015, they went bankrupt. Radio Shack sold it for $19.99, and it had a 4-star user rating on their website. And here is the unboxing. You get the fake camera with the fake lens, the mounting hardware, the fake cable, and does it have a manual? Yes, it has a manual. According to the specifications, that flashing LED should last for about 4 months when powered by 2 alkaline C-cell batteries. It'd be quite annoying to have to climb up on the ladder every 4 months to replace those batteries. And according to the date on the manual, this model was most likely introduced in 2009. And just in case a thief or vandal also climbs up on a ladder to get a closer look at it, they'll see it just says security camera on the back, not simulated security camera. So as far as they'll know, it's the real thing, at least until they disconnect the cable and see that it doesn't have a center pin. Unfortunately, that same attention to detail did not extend to the front, where the lens barrel does not turn to adjust the focus. But there's that flashing LED and the simulated lens. And replacing those C batteries every 4 months is going to be made even more cumbersome by the fact that the battery door is held in place with 4 screws. The lid and screws have rubber gaskets on them, so yes, they really did make the case waterproof, so it is suitable for outdoor use. And inside that case is mostly a whole lot of nothing, and they put some silicone on the switch to make it waterproof as well. There are the battery terminals, and the wires just go directly from the batteries through the switch to the LED, so the electronics that make the LED flash are in the LED itself, which also has a silicone gasket on it to make it waterproof. And there's nothing in there for the lens, so there's no hidden actual camera module in this. It's purely decorative. But one oversight I noticed is that the box clearly shows it being mounted from the top, while in the actual unit it can only be mounted from the bottom. I thought maybe it would have reversible bottom and top covers, but the bottom is all molded in place. And yes, of course, you can still mount it from the top, but then the printing on it will be upside down, which does not match the photo on the box. I put in 2 alkaline C-cell batteries, and when I switch it on, we get a rather frenetically flashing red LED on the front of it. And there it is with the cover reinstalled. So let me get this thing mounted. I thought I must be doing something wrong when I couldn't get the simulated security camera mounted on the stand when it works perfectly fine with the real one. But no, it turns out they forgot to tap the threads in the mounting hole. When I catch the light on it just right, you can see it's completely smooth. So the included stand is never going to fit in there. There, I was able to solve the problem by drilling my own hole in the bottom of the cabinet. And there it is, fully installed and operational. And here is the realistic looking dummy IR camera for indoor or outdoor use. I'm pretty sure this is the same as what you can buy today on Amazon for about $10. It says fake intruders out with this realistic looking imitation security camera with flashing red light. It has a sliding cover, runs on 2 AA batteries, and has an LED light. It's available in black, silver, or purple, but none of them are checked off, so it'll be a surprise which one this one is. And there they give some scenarios where you might want to install a fake security camera. It says, protect your home or your business. And there it is. I don't know if it originally came with instructions. I got this at the thrift store, and the camera itself was the only thing in the box. And there you can see what looks like a bunch of infrared LEDs around the camera lens to give it night vision. It does have a sliding cover. Claims to be a CCD camera, day and night. I guess that's where you put in the batteries. And it has a not very convincing cable. That's just a rubber tube. And the mounting bracket, which can be swiveled around. Actually, you don't need to remove the back to gain access to the batteries. You just slide off that cover entirely. And that's where you get to the battery compartment for 2 AA batteries. But looking in the back, we can see it's just wired directly from the batteries to the LED. There's no switch. And there you can kind of see the fake LEDs taped into the front. And I thought maybe those were real LEDs, but looking closer at them, I don't see any dyes in them. so they're just plastic decorations made to look like LEDs, and the only actual one is the red one down here. And after installing the batteries, you can see it has a much slower flashing LED than that Radio Shack camera. It's really quite sedate in comparison. And I noticed there's no rubber gaskets on anything, so I guess they're expecting this to keep it safe from rain. And there they are, installed side by side. I don't know, would you be fooled if you saw either one of these out in public? I think neither one of them got the flashing LED right. The Radio Shack one is a little bit too quick, and the other one is a little bit too slow. But what do I know? There's a good chance the cameras I've seen out in public with flashing red LEDs on them are fake as well. In a 2005 survey by CSO, a magazine for people involved in security, they said 23% of respondents said they include some fake or deactivated cameras as part of their surveillance practice. But they cautioned against the practice, saying don't use dummy cameras without considering the risks. According to New York law firm Jackson Lewis, all things considered, there are limited circumstances in which fake cameras are appropriate, but generally they do more harm than good. They're a bad idea all around.